Hello friends, this is Joe from St. Bernard Acres. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Heritage Port here in Wheeling, West Virginia. It's time for another video. And this is turning into one of my favorite places to shoot video. It's so pretty here with the river, and at evening time with the sun going down, it's cool. There's a little breeze. This is a good spot. So when I'm in Wheeling, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos from here, I have a feeling. This is July 7th, Thursday. And I'm going to do a video along the prepper line, prepper type videos. Because people do ask for them, and I do want to get into some of those subjects and start talking about that. I do prep. I'm not a hardcore prepper. I'm not one of these giant, doomsday preppers. But I believe we all need to do a certain level of prepping. And one of the things I'm very fortunate about and get asked about, often is a bug out location. And should you bug out or should you shelter in place? And in my situation, I'm very lucky. I have a bug out location in that I have St. Bernard Acres. So I have that to go to get out of this city if need be. But a lot will depend on the event that's happening and what options you have during that event, how long you expect that event to last. There's no way to tell exactly. So the idea is you prepare for the worst and, hope for the best. That everybody's heard that. So if you're in the market for property to use as a homestead or, a bug out location, I've always said the best preppers are homesteaders because they're already set up. They already know how to do it. The homesteaders from the Depression era and World War II, I mean, they knew how to survive. They didn't need the federal government or FEMA taking care of them. And if you've learned from them, then you're a prepper. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. That's what I'm striving to be, as good as you guys are. So, your bug out location property, tough to find anymore because everybody has this sense of urgency. Something's going to happen. Something's coming down. And it's time to do it. Time to get it. Time to get ready. Time to quit talking about it. Number one, proximity to the city you live in. It needs to be the right distance away from the city. You don't want to have to deal with a mass exodus of people and driving for days to get to your bug out location. You need to try to keep it, if possible, within one tank of gas. Because if something happens, gas is going to be in short supply. You're not going to be able to find it. You can't count on getting more gas on your way out. So you try to keep it within a gas tank if you can. Also, depending on what happens, you may have to walk. You may have to hike to your place. And at my age, I don't want to do that. But, I could do 8 miles a day, depending on the terrain and all of that kind of crap. And in your bug out bag, you might have 7 days worth of supplies. So try to think, 8 to 10 miles per day you can walk. You got 7 days worth of supplies. If you're fortunate, you can have a couple of caches along the way where you could resupply, have a spot. We have a little bit of property about halfway out to St. Bernard Acres. We can make it that far, we could rest up in semi-safety and resupply a little bit and carry on. That's some of the stuff you need to think about. Different routes. your location should have more than one route available to get to it. In case one is blocked, you should know another way to get to it. So, again, that depends on what's coming down, what happened. But proximity is point number one. Point number two, security things. You have to think about that. Not that you got to have a fortress around you or, armed guards everywhere, but you want it to be a place that's not easy to get to. Eventually people probably will make it to you. But, think about that. If you can get a lot of trees, if you have trees, that can help block some of the light if people are coming by. You're at the end of a dirt road, you know, you don't want light shining everywhere. Uh, Up on top of a hill, if you can get up there, you're better off. It's easier to defend a hill than it is to take a hill, militarily speaking. But think about those kind of things, or you don't want, and that's part of your route getting out there too. You want a route that will give the least amount of opportunity for running across hostile people. That's what you want to think about. It's going to take them days to realize that the city's completely gone and they have to start wandering out. Because originally, the masses are going to try to take whatever resources are available within the city. You don't want to be a part of that. You want to be away from that for sure. Um, some of the things you need to think about at your property that you're going to need is water. Hopefully you can find a place that has a spring, some kind of a water source available. Um, a pond, if you're going to build a building, a shelter, try to set up rain catchment if you have to. Because you got to have water. There's no point in getting there and having no water. You're only going to last a few days without water. So that's a very important consideration. Can you put a tank out there and have a few hundred gallons of water available to you? Until you get the rain catchment and everything going. So hopefully you can find a piece of property that has water available for you. That's very important and something to think about. And that, when you're looking at properties, okay, and you want to sit down and compare the different pieces you found and price, is it worth a little bit more money if you know there's a natural spring, a year-round spring on that property? Yeah, then you can say, okay, I can justify paying a little bit more per acre for this one than that one. Those are things, think about water. Another thing to think about is long-term self-sustainability. Is there, because you don't know how long you might have to be there during a shit hit the fan scenario, depending on what it is. So, is it suitable for growing food on? Is there an area cleared or that you could clear, that you could garden if you need to supplement your supplies that you have? Because you're not going to be able to run to the grocery store when you run out of supplies. So you have to think about, is it suitable for self-sustainability, for having a homestead on it? So again, you got to have water for that. So that would add value to the piece of property you're looking for. If it costs a little bit more, there's a justification if you can afford it. So that's very important. Another point, structures. If there's any structures on the property, are they sound? You know, you have to have a place to safely store your supplies and build your supplies while you're prepping the land. So is there something already there? Is there already a cabin on it? What shape is it in? Because, some people only need, a tarp shelter. They would be happy with that. Not a lot of people, you know. Is Do you have the ability to build on that property? Can you build something? You know, that's an important aspect of it. How much work is going to have to go into clearing a spot to build a structure on for yourself or your family? And it has to be secure enough that you can store your supplies out there for your long-term food. Um, Again, St. Bernard Acres was very lucky. We had a barn. We got that big old barn out there that's secured now, and that's was the reason for buying that particular piece of property was that barn. Once we saw it, we knew that's what we were getting. So think about structures that are there or structures that you're going to have to build. You need more than just four walls and a roof in some instances. Is there a clearing where you can set up solar? Because you're going to have some form of power if the grid goes down. You're going to want to have some solar panels. Do you have enough open area to make that viable? Man, skeeters are coming out. So you want a clearing area. You want an area you can clear to get solar for power, because you're going to want that, especially depending on how long it's going to be. If you're there for a year or two, you're basically going to be living. It's going to be the rest of your life there, more than likely. So you think about that. I mean, you don't want a piece of property that's just a hillside that's nothing but trees. And people are trying to sell that property. Here's 8 acres. Doesn't matter, 7.5 acres of it's vertical and it's rock. You can't even grow anything on it. So, things to look at when you're out shopping for this property. Man, I love this. Just off topic here. People pull up to the port here, to the boat docks, park their boats, walk up to the pizza shop, get pizzas, and take them back to their boats. I love that. All right, back to my talk. Another very important aspect is affordability. Can you afford it? Because you're going to have to not only buy that property, if you finance it, you're going to have to make those payments, but you're also going to have to be able to make improvements on it and get it set up and get it ready to be your bug out location. There's no point in having 5 acres of land that for the last year and a half you've not been able to afford to do anything on it. It's just the bare land. You need to be able to get it ready, and you need to be able, again, this sense of urgency. You need to be able to get it ready kind of quickly, and I would hate to be in a position where I've got this stuff I need, shit hits the fan, and now you can no longer get it. So even if you can, like in the barn, I've got a bunch of 2x4s and 2x8s and posts and, any lumber I can get, I'll stock out there for future projects if something does happen. All my seeds are out there. I got to get things together. You see how much I've been improving the cabin lately, because it's coming. I got to get it ready. So you got to think about that. Another thing you got to think about are, until shit hits the fan or whatever, you got to think about legalities and permits and things that you got to deal with the county and the townships. I made a mistake on mine. At the early stages of St. Bernard Acres, I made a mistake because I didn't know the codes, and it cost me. So learn those things while you're out shopping. Um, that's an important thing. Learn the codes. Know what you can do, what you can't do, what you've got to have a permit for. what you don't need a permit for, those kind of things. Learn those. Is there wildlife around? Are you going to, you know, is there enough clearing where you could have livestock, or not livestock, but goats, sheep, chickens, you know, because you're going to want those in a shit at the fan situation, you know, to help you in a long term situation. Just things to look for. That's the name of the game. Think about it. Don't jump on the first piece of property you can find. Gail and I spent 4 years looking at different properties. We almost bought one down by Gallipolis, Ohio, that was pretty nice. But that was too far away for one, and it just didn't. It had what was called a gob pile on it because it had been mined. It was all the coal mining that had gone on, and they take their sludge and stuff, and they have these things. They're called, I think, gob piles. And that piece of property had a big gob pile on it. Now, the EPA, the state cleans it up, but the problem with gob piles, those can spontaneously combust. The only cool thing about that property, and I wish I had it in a way, is there was an entrance to a mine there. And you could see into the shaft. You could see the tracks, that were still there. I mean, I would love to have gone exploring in that mine, but it wasn't feasible to buy that particular piece of property. So take your time, but hurry up. That's about all I can tell you. You know, you got to get this stuff going. We have to do it. And properties are out there. They're getting more and more expensive. But, we found one that was owner financed. They did the financing on it. And those are out there. You just have to search and keep searching and keep searching and keep searching, and you will find what fits your needs. You really can. But don't keep putting it off and putting it off, and don't get into that. I can't afford it. I can't find it. Make yourself do it. You're gonna need it because it is coming, folks. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's a coming. Now I got to close this thing out. It's starting to get a little bit dark here. The sun has gone down. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about it. What are some of the important things you would look for? Some of the stuff I missed, because I don't know everything. But let's get a discussion going. And if you know of some property near you for sale, put it in the comments for other people to see it. I'm going to try to activate St. Bernard Acres Facebook page again and try to get a community going there where we can post things and, have better discussions than me doing videos. So I'm going to try to work on that for you guys so we can get all this together. But if you know a property for sale or if you have property for sale, throw it in the comments. Somebody may see that. Somebody may be needing it and may be what they're looking for. Let's all talk to each other. That's about it, folks. I got to go home and get packed up, get everything. I'm heading out to St. Bernard Acres tomorrow for the weekend. Try to get my rain catchment finished. At least get the barrels set up and the gutters, everything catching, and the plumbing done, at least to the point where I can hook up the pump and start working on my sink in the kitchen. But yeah, that's going to be this weekend's project, and working on the van. I want to get my camper van going too, because I want to have fun too. I'm not going to be one of those preppers that that's all I think about is prepping and worried about the world's going to end tomorrow. No, I still want to get my camper van going because I want to do some camping. I want to do, some stealth camping just for fun. And who knows, it may become a bug out vehicle. So, keep a life too. Prepping is important. Keep thinking about it, but also enjoy your life as well. Don't spend your life just prepping and worried about something. Don't fear it. Just get ready for it. We'll help you. That's what we're here for. Somebody will help you. Don't worry about it. But this is Joe out here at Heritage Port. It's getting dark. I got to get out of here. It gets scary. Remember to like, share, comment, do all those kind of things. I'm out, folks.